Hello everyone, this is Amcel and welcome back to another Arcane Odyssey video. Today I'm going to be talking about the best stats that you can allocate into strength and weapons for Warlord builds. Now, to clarify, there is no exact best stat ratio that you can have as a Warlord, but there are certainly bad ones, and those are the ones to avoid at all costs, and I'll explain why later on in the video. Now, before we continue, we have to know that the maximum amount of available stat points you can get right now at max level is 250, and that's because at every level that you gain, you get 2 stat points, so 125 times 2 is simply just 250. So the best Warlord build is going to be one that equally balances this number out between the two. Now, you might be quick to assume that 125 for each would just simply be the best, since half of 250 is 125, right? Well, this would be a big mistake. Due to the stats required for certain fighting styles and techniques, having any stats for strength higher than 120 and lower than 150 is completely useless, as the extra stats won't do anything extra for you. And having a weapons level at 125 will severely limit the amount of weapon skills that you can use, as there are a ton of weapons that have skills at exactly level 130, so you'd be 5 short and you wouldn't be able to use any of them. So the best 3 ratios that you can have right now in the game are strength 100, weapons 150, the next one is strength 120, weapons 130, and finally strength 150 and weapons at 100. There are advantages and disadvantages of each, with 120 130 being the most balanced and the other two leaning towards one side compared to the other. I'll be explaining the pros and cons of each one very shortly. But apart from this, you really want to avoid any stat locations other than these 3, because you'll have useless stats in between important numbers that really won't contribute to anything at all. So the first one is strength 100 and weapons 150. The advantages of this stat build is that there are weapon skills that you can use at exactly 150. In particular, the Greenwish Cultist staff with its really strong piercing gale skill, which can only be used at weapons 150. Now, as you might know, might not know, I'm a really big fan of the common weapon, the Iron Staff, and the Greenwish Cultist staff is essentially just a better version of it with all the same skills. However, it is just a little bit harder to get. That might be a little bit of an understatement, but you know, you probably won't have it lying around in your inventory. The disadvantage of this build, though, is that you'll be able to use less fighting techniques compared to the other ones, but it is compensated a little with a much bigger weapons choice and variety. So if you are planning to use the halberd, then this might not be the best one, as I'm pretty sure that the halberd has skills in the game right now that require over 100 strength to be able to use. But yet again, you can use you know, techniques that are 150 for specific weapons, so it's just personal choice. The second one is strength 120 and weapons 130, and this is the most balanced of them all, as you can use a lot of fighting techniques as well as a wide variety of weapons. I'd recommend this build for most, as the other ones right now might favour certain scenarios and situations and might be just a little bit harder to use depending on the player, and can just be a little bit dubious because, you know, there are features and stuff that you might not be able to use. So yeah, if you really don't know quite yet about the other options, then I'd just recommend this one by default. So yeah, this is probably the best one, to be completely honest. But we have the third and final one, and that is strength 150 and weapons 100. And this one you're able to use a ton of fighting techniques and your fists will be very strong. But the downside is that your weapon choice will be limited, and as I said earlier, you might not be able to use all of the halberds or lance of loyalty skills, because some of them require your strength and weapon stats to be over 100. Now, as you can see, my stats are a little bit weird, as I found out about all this after I had already allocated all my stats, so yeah, I did mess up a little bit. However, when the next big update comes out and the level cap is up probably to 250 to get your second awakening, I'll be able to rectify my stat points and fix them when that time comes. So yeah, but when that time does come, I'll also probably make an updated video explaining the optimal stat builds for Warlord and maybe even other classes if I'm able to. So yeah, that pretty much sums up this video. If you did find this helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment letting me know what you think, and if you're interested in more of my content, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any daily uploads. And yeah, I think that's it, and I'll see you all tomorrow.